Right then, Amarok single cab. If you watched the previous video, Dean's trying to get in on my video. If you watched the previous video for this, I'll show you how we got it. Not many reasons why we got it, so we'll try and go into that and what we're going to do with it. But basically, this came from Australia. You can't get the single cabs, I don't think in Europe at all, but we needed a right-hand drive one anyway, so Australia was the best place to get it. It took a while. Cost a little bit of money, not too crazy. I'm not even sure of exact figures, but it weren't ridiculous for something unique anyway. This is it's a 2 litre petrol, which we'll see what that transpires into driving style. The reason we had to get a 2 litre petrol really was because all the ones with the bed were petrols, because all the diesel ones are generally tray backs, which Danny will put a picture of what people do with tray backs if you don't know what they are. But if you're Australian or you're from New Zealand, whatever, you see them all the time. So as you can see, compared to ours, the bed on these is quite a bit longer. Rough measurement, it's about 640 mil, something like that. 650 mil longer, so a good 2 foot, something like that. Yeah, 2 foot. It can't carry any more weight, so obviously if you're carrying bigger stuff, then it's going to work. I did really think about, when we got it, which would have made more sense to buy a tray back if we were going to do that, but I'd have liked to have put this bed onto this and shorten the chassis and what have you, but I think it'd only look good if we jacked it up as well. But Danny will put some pictures of what they look like. If you think that looks good, let us know. But I think the unique part about this is the longer bed. So it'd be a bit daft really to make a single cab with a short bed. I don't know, we'll see. So plans for this, we were never 100% sure what we wanted to do. Obviously this one, we've jacked it up a bit and put big mud tyres on, or sort of all-terrain tyres, and made it a bit wider and gone for this utilitarian canopy. And I think this one is sort of, it's not finished yet. We wanted to do a full livery wrap and make it look a bit different rather than it just being grey. That ain't happening just yet, but it will happen at some point. But this is kind of, a lot of people like this. It's universally loved. Everybody seems to comment on it, oh, that's a nice vehicle. And we never really had a set in stone plan for this. We just did what made sense at the time. And I think we've achieved it. That does what it needs to do. It tows the trailer really nice and people like it. It stands out a bit. This one, obviously, because we've imported it and it's for some reason on the weight plate here, sorry Danny, I'm springing it on you. I don't know why, but this has come with a weight plate that's got nothing on it. So we're not even sure what the gross vehicle weight should be, or the gross train weight. And then the logbook doesn't actually say anything anyway. So can't really, it'd have been, I think it'd have looked cool if it had made it look just like this one. But obviously with a single cab, but I don't think that's going to happen anyway. So I think what we're going to try and achieve, want you guys to tell us what you think, your opinions, put them in comments and what have you, send us some pictures on Messenger and email and what have you. But I think we're going to probably go for something lowered, maybe like Keith's. Obviously he's got a white normal UK spec one that we dropped. Obviously, this is not absolutely slammed, you still use it, you can still put a little bit of stuff in the back and actually use it as a pickup. So we might go for something like that, or we might go for super slammed look, which I think we've seen a couple in Australia that have got that with some massive wheels and what have you. I think we might go for that sort of look as well. But the other thing, as a company, we've never built sort of a dedicated show car. So I think we might go for something that we can drive to the show, so not completely like it's a trailer queen. Like a show vehicle, so to show off what Alan and Dave can do in the body shop, like an absolutely mint paint job. Not sure what colour, so suggestions again. Maybe stepping outside of the Volkswagen colours. We've seen a few nice colours that are like the new Transporters come in some nice colours and stuff like that. But maybe something a little bit further away. Something difficult to paint just to keep Alan happy. But yeah, full show quality job, which is going to mean smartening up all the little dents and dings and everything in this, so it's a lot of work. And then interior wise, we've got a few ideas, but we're probably thinking, again, show car spec, some nice fancy comfy seats so it can drive to the European shows and still be comfortable. Yeah, so that's the idea. Obviously, if you look inside, if you listen to this, tinny, definitely not built like the newer ones, but it's just so basic inside. Obviously the dash is like the older ones and it's even more plasticky than ever. So I think if we are going to do something inside, we're going to definitely have to get a 3 litre one of these or a newer one and throw all the new dash in, maybe leather or Alcantara dash, door cards, all this stuff. So we've got an idea who would get to do it. Edge Automotive did some stuff for us on the BMW, and Scott wants them to do his Porsche, so they might get this job. You never know. We'll see. Little shameless plug for them. So yeah, I think that probably takes care of the look side of things. Obviously, wheel choice, not sure. Tyre choice, still not sure. But the first thing to do with this is definitely sort out the engine side of things. So we'll have a look at what it's got, and then we'll see what we think we're going to do with it. So you can see the little 2 litre TFSI lump. It's got a turbo, but it doesn't feel like it has. It's like ridiculously slow. But not sure why they put this engine in them. I don't know whether there's a bit like an American-y thing going on in Australia where they like petrol engines, but in America they're all V8s, so, or massive engines. So yeah, it's very slow. The gears are very long. Like you're doing 70 mile an hour, and if you hit a tiny hill, it wants you to change down into 5th gear, which is a bit strange. But I think everybody must speed in Australia and go 80, 90 mile an hour, and then the gearing would probably make sense. But yeah, this is crap. I'm sure somebody will want this engine and gearbox to do something crazy with, because I'm sure you could just put a Golf R engine onto this gearbox or play about with it or whatever. So if anybody wants all this stuff, let us know. It will come out pretty soon and be available for sale, because we don't need any of the wiring or any of that sort of stuff, so just rip it all out and away we go. So what our plans were originally, before Scott went trigger happy and bought an Audi R8, and then the internet told us we need to put a V12 in that, and then we decided we're going to have to put a V8 in or it's not happening. We were going to put a V8 in this anyway. That was the initial idea. V8, 4-wheel drive, sort of try and use a full Touareg, KN, whatever running gear, and then that would be fairly straightforward. But then more we thought about it, more we decided we didn't want to repair that because it was going to cost too much money to make it into a nice Q7. If we're going to turn it into something scrappy, then fair dues. We thought, why don't we get this and put the V12 engine in? So it is, if you've not watched any of these videos, we've not done many up to now because the plan's changed, but this big old lump here, which is like massive, could sleep on it, you know what I mean? Just curl up, fetal position, go to sleep to keep warm on a night. But it's absolutely massive, very complicated, 2 ECUs, 2 of everything. It wouldn't be an easy job converting something to this. Never mind putting it in the back of an Audi R8, which somebody sent us a picture of an R8 with a V12 in the engine bay, so we'll put that up. But that doesn't necessarily mean you can get a gearbox that'll run it. And as a tuning company, having a gearbox that means the wheels will just turn don't really make any sense, because as soon as you tune it and it craps its pants, you'd wish you never bothered. So although I would like this engine in the back of an R8, it's definitely going to need to go in something that can take the power and where you can get a gearbox in that'll transmit the power. So logically, it makes sense to take this out of here and put that in there, and I've made that sound very easy. It'd be nice if we could just crash them into each other and that'd just appear in there and away you go. It'd save all the hundreds of hours it's going to probably take. But I think it's the best place for it to go. And I think if we are going to do it, obviously it's better to visualise it here, but where these airboxes are, it wants some turbos. And I would like to put 3 turbos on it, but we'll see. If all we can get away with is 2 big 28 turbos, which are the hybrids that would normally fit where these fit, if we can get them up here high and play with them and make it look good and see what power this engine would actually do if somebody just put hybrids on one of these, and then maybe take it further later on, we could see. I think it'd be nice to have 800 horsepower, it'd be even nice to have 1,000, and then maybe it'd be worth taking that to the drag strip. But I'll just measure quickly while we're here. I've not even measured it, so I've got a tape measure to hand. But, oh, don't bang your head on that, it hurts. We'll try and get the tape measure in. Get it in here. It'll be easier to get it here. So it's like, go to the bulkhead. That's 700 to the front. Go to the bulkhead in here. So there's room to get it in. Worst case, if the radiators had to go, yeah, we've definitely got room to get that in there. No problem. So I think gearbox wise, obviously we'll check the width of the chassis, but we'll see. But I think gearbox wise, the logical step would be just to use that, but I don't think that gearbox is a little bit lazy. It's definitely strong enough. Not sure whether it's strong enough to take 1,000 horsepower and whatever torque comes with that. But I think we need to, the strongest gearbox from my contacts at ZF, obviously there might be stronger gearboxes at other manufacturers, let us know if you do know of any, is the BMW 640D gearbox, which is a rear wheel drive, ZF8, 8-speed automatic. Shouldn't be too difficult to adapt it to fit that engine. Obviously rear wheel drive will simplify things when it had to mess back. This is already 2-wheel drive. So yeah, I think that's probably the better one. A few people said, oh, it's not strong enough, but if that ZF8 speed's not strong enough, they're probably into another gearbox strong enough. I'd like to go to a manual, but I don't think there's a manual that'd take it either. So yeah, that's open for discussion at the minute. The first job would be get this running standalone in this car. We'll take sort of all the car related stuff out of this, get that engine running and driving and dynoable and what have you. Sell all the bits out of that, rip the engine out, and then get the gearbox adapted to that engine and start thinking about whacking it in here. I think the gearbox, to control it, we could spend a bit of time playing and make the standard ECU and the standard GCU talk to each other, but I think we'd probably end up going to an aftermarket controller for that. Again, we went down all that route with the Golf and regretted it, but I think times are changing now, so things might be a bit improved with the aftermarket GCU. So we'll see. I think it's entirely possible to do it. If it's going to be show / maybe the drag strip every now and again, we can make some compromise on it being rear wheel drive and not 4-wheel drive. And I think this just wants to be something that when customers are coming just to see what we can do, throw them in a passenger seat, either go around a track or just go up and down the bypass, and you don't have to go 150 mile an hour to scare somebody. You can just put your foot down at 30 mile an hour and show them what 1,000, 1,200 foot-pounds of torque's going to do. So we'll see. That's the ideas. I definitely want to put these brakes onto this because these are just the craziest brakes any car's ever had, I think, especially considering it's a SUV. So I think, yeah, that's the idea. I'm sure I've missed a load of stuff out, and Danny's going to go crazy when the camera stops. But I think next step, let's go for a little drive in this, talk about what it is, and talk about how if you do want to import one of these, if you're not planning on doing anything to it, you will be severely disappointed. So we're out in the single cab. I'm sure first and second gears straight cut in this gearbox because they're definitely whiny. Set off in second, it's fine. So, like I've alluded to, what's all these people walking for? This, it's crap. So if you're wanting something decent, definitely find the spec you want and import that. Don't be as stupid as we are and try and build it, because that does get expensive. But I do like this. I've drove it a little bit, not gone crazy. I've also drove it back and been home and back in it a couple of times and stuff. And I do like, it's that feeling you get when you're driving something that's crap, that you know you can't really break it just driving it. Rather than having something really fancy that you don't want to drive, you know what I mean? You just jump in it and drive it. Bump up a curb if you need to park somewhere. That sort of thing. So I do like it for that side of things. I don't like how it's got a petrol engine. That's not what. I don't like that. But it drives alright. You do miss the diesel clatter, or you don't notice the diesel clatter when you ain't got it. Doing nearly 60 mile an hour. Speedo says 60. A little bit art on there, about 10% art, something like that. But drives alright. Not sure what you'd want to tow with this. Got a tow bar on it from when we bought it. Not sure if you'd want to tow anything heavyweight. But it just feels cheap. Everything's cheap. Gear shifter's cheap, which the 2 litre manual Amaroks, I've not drove a 3 litre manual, they do exist, but the 2 litre manual's got this horrible gear shifter. It's like really loose and clunky, and this is definitely poverty spec. There's more blanks than switches. We have got an off-road mode, don't know what that does. We'll turn traction control off, not sure if that's going to help us or not. Quarter tanker devil's juice, so enough to do what we need to do. These tyres don't feel too bad, not too noisy, so they're all terrain, so they'll be for sale at some point. And we've got some bigger wheels to roll around on. There's something rattling around in here somewhere, down back at dash, don't know what it is, doing me head in. I don't think that's all to do with there's something to do with that light bar that got took off, if you ask me. So yeah, I think what we might as well do is see how slow it really is, because the only thing that we can do to this from now, in my opinion, is make it better. So we'll see what his baseline figure is, and we'll move from there. I don't even know how I'm going to launch this. I'll get a boot full, it's not got enough power to cause itself any mischief. That is what you miss with diesel. It sounds like it's not even running. Anyway, let's go for it. Oh, bit of axle tramp. Changed up a bit too early. Let's use all the revs. Not all the revs, because it ain't got a lot. When you see that top number, 3.99, wow. But that's 30 mile an hour. We're pretty quick to 30 mile an hour, but then 12.3 to 60. That's not so good. 1307 to 62. So that's a long time to do that extra 2 mile an hour. That's why it matters. 100 kilometers an hour is a lot further than 60 mile per hour. And then quarter mile, 18.74. I'm sure there's cars that have done it slower. I'll have another go. Just have another go for no reason other than it's quiet on the roads today for some reason. I'll rev it more this time. See what we can do. But that is slow. I don't know if it's slow for something this big and stupid with this power. 160 horsepower. Not a lot at all. That's foot flat down. 2000 RPM. Nothing is happening. yeah, safe to say it's not very good. Could be worse. Starts up, drives. No idea what mile per gallon it's doing, I've not checked, but it uses fuel. I need all the bypass to do this. Much better launch, using all the revs. Change up before it gets to 6 because it just stops. I don't think that were any quicker though. So it was slower to, even though I didn't rev it as much I suppose, slower by 0.1 second to 30, and then a little bit quicker to 60, and then a fair bit quicker to So I think Danny will tell me otherwise, and this will be cut out and we'll never see it again if I'm telling fibs. But this is the end of this video. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think we should do. If you want something similar building, don't ask us because we don't want to build it. That's not why we build these crazy projects. We build these because we want to do them, and then because we want to attract people to come and give us the more straightforward jobs that people actually want to pay for. The build, if we are doing what we say we're going to do, that's a lot of money's worth. If somebody wants to pay £50 an hour for it doing, it's going to be a lot of money to do it. So yeah, this isn't going to happen straight away. We've got some other projects to get rid of, raffle, sell, whatever we can do with them. A bit of swapping around, some race cars to get rid of, stuff like that, just to put a bit of money in the pot for these. So yeah, we'll await your comments, await your pictures, links, videos, wherever, and we'll try, before we start it, come up with some plan and discuss that with everybody. So thank you for watching. This is slow.